The Earthling Experience. Would you look at that fabulous planet? That really is a fetching blue. A little last season, but I mean, if any planet can pull it off, it's Earth, right? Just turn a little to the right. A little more. Excellent. That's gold. Wait, I didn't say keep turning. Hey, stop. I hate working with planets. Someone get me a latte stat.
Earth rotates, Earth revolves, and Earth is tilted. Because of this, we Earthlings get to experience day and night as well as the seasons. Let's see how this works.
Earth rotates.
Think of Earth's axis like an imaginary rod stuck straight through its center from pole to pole, like this. Earth rotates from west to east around this axis.
Just like a dervish dancer, Earth spins and spins. This spinning is responsible for the Earthling experience of day and night. Check it out.
As Earth turns from west to east, noontime comes for one time zone after the other across the globe. Noon is when the sun is highest in the sky. From noon on one day till noon on the next day takes about 24 hours. You know, a day. One full rotation of the planet.
The solar day is how we Earthlings tell time. We literally organize our entire lives around the passage of light through the sky. It's crazy. And awesome.
Earth revolves!
Do you know what? I heard that ancient astronomers thought that Earth was the center of the universe. They didn't think that Earth moved at all. They thought it just hung there in space while all the stars and planets moved around it like the most popular guy at school.
But the truth is, Earth revolves around the sun. It moves around the sun in an elliptical path over and over again, like a philosopher pondering life's greatest mysteries.
Earth is also tilted at a 23.5-degree angle on its axis. What does this tilt mean for Earthlings?
Earth's tilt is responsible for the Earthling experience of the seasons. Let's see how that works.
Earth's tilt means that during one half of its orbit, the top of the planet is going to be at a more intense angle of sunlight than the bottom. And that during the other half of its orbit, the bottom of the planet is going to be at a more intense angle of sunlight than the top.
We call these halves of the Earth hemispheres. The top is the northern hemisphere, and the bottom is the southern hemisphere.
As Earth revolves, each hemisphere experiences summer and winter at opposite times of year.
When a hemisphere leans towards the sun, that hemisphere experiences summer. The result is that the sun is higher in the sky, the days are longer, and the light rays are more concentrated, making things warmer. The summer is also the time when shadows are shortest. Think about it. Shadows are created when light hits things at angles. In the summer, the sun is more directly overhead, so shadows are shorter.
A hemisphere experiences winter when it is leaned away from the sun. The result is that the sun is lower in the sky and the days are shorter than in the summer. The light rays hitting the surface of the Earth are less intense, so it gets colder. You may have also noticed that shadows are at their longest in the winter. This is because the sun's rays are hitting objects from the side instead of overhead.
But remember, since Earth is round, that means that there's always going to be places that receive less light than others, and that's just the way it is. Places near the middle of the planet have way more intense summers than either of the poles can ever hope for. This is because in the summer, the sun hangs out directly above the Earth's midline, the equator. Even in winter, the sun in equatorial regions doesn't get that low. Low.
An easy way to think about this is to think of it in terms of latitude and longitude.
The northern and southern hemispheres are separated by an imaginary line at the middle of the planet called the equator. More imaginary lines called lines of latitude run east-west parallel to the equator all the way to the poles, and lines of longitude run north-south around the globe.
What latitude do you live near? What are the seasons like where you live? This guy wants to know.
The moon and its phases.
Earth is not alone out there in space. No, it has a very special friend. A friend that sticks with it no matter what. In fact, we could all learn a lesson in loyalty from the moon, Earth's satellite. Height.
No reason to wax sentimental. The moon is held to Earth by gravity, not loyalty.
Same difference.
Nuh-uh.
Speaking of waxing, the moon has 8 phases, which all Earthlings are pretty familiar with.
There's new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. Waxing just means getting bigger, and waning means getting smaller. Who knows what gibbous means?
Why do Earthlings experience the moon this way? Let's leave Earth for a second to answer that.
As we know, at the same time that the moon is orbiting Earth, Earth is also orbiting the sun. When we see the moon in different phases, what we are really seeing is sunlight reflecting off the surface of the moon.
Like Earth, the moon also rotates and revolves. Interestingly, the moon's period of rotation around its axis is the same as its period of revolution around Earth. Both take 1 month. That means that we Earthlings only ever get to see the same side of the moon, while the other side, the dark side, remains a mystery.
But exactly how long is a month? We could say that a month is from one full moon to the next, but exactly how long is that?
The period of time from one full moon to the next is 29.5 days. This is called a synodic month, and guess what? It's kind of an illusion. One actual or sidereal month is only about 27 1/3 days. Confused? Disturbed? Angry? Check it out. A synodic month is what we Earthlings perceive to be a month. You know, one full moon cycle. The reason it takes 2 days longer than a sidereal month is because of the movement of the Earth-Moon system around the sun. You see, by the time the moon makes it around the Earth is moved a bit in its own path around the sun. That means the moon must travel a bit farther than one revolution in order for the cycle to appear complete from Earth.
I heard the moon makes people grow hairy and loud.
Actually, it's even better. The moon affects ocean tides.
Oh yeah, I heard that too. But why?
Well, you see, we know that Earth and the moon are attracted to each other by gravity, right? As Earth rotates around, the side of the planet that's facing the moon gets sucked toward it a little bit, causing Earth to bulge out slightly.
The effect of this bulge is not so dramatic when it comes to solid ground. But the ocean, it's a different story. The waters actually rise. That's high tide. Surf's up.
Because Earth rotates over the course of a day, what happens is that different places on Earth move through the bulge, and so different places experience high tide and low tide at different times per day, depending on where they are in the world.
Oh, I remember low tide in Sydney, 1979. That was the first time I saw a mermaid. She swam up to me, picked some seaweed out of her lovely nose, and